Hey, it's David with Oklahoma Ham Radio. In this video, I want to review that hammock system that's in the background and talk about the different weather conditions that you can camp using that system. It's not just a summer camping setup. Hey, like and subscribe. Thank you for stopping by. So I decided to go with the hammock route instead of the tent route because of some of the items that I found and I wanted to discuss here. So this is the Inu hammock stand. It's a Nomad hammock stand. It's advertised as lightweight. It does not mean camping. Uh, I'm sorry. It does not mean backpacking. It's too heavy to backpack with. It's about $250 to $300, and it uses the Inu, I don't know, cargo strap system, I guess is the best way to describe it, and I'll show what that means here. But each of the ends of this pole, um, tie into a strap, and that strap holds that pole in place. Now, each side of it has this pyramid, or I guess it's a pyramid. It's not three-sided, but anyway, it's kind of a pyramid stand on each side, and that pole connects between the two pyramids to keep it the right distance apart to support anything over the top and help support the hammock and so on and so forth. It keeps it from collapsing in on itself or pulling in together, providing the support. There is shock cord inside of all of these legs, and once you get the legs extended, you just slap this little strap together with a little clip, and that keeps the bottoms of the legs from spreading out any further than they're supposed to be expanded. So you can see that clip there. It's just a little plastic clip. So you put that one together, you get the other one put together, and then your stand set up. So while that other one's getting put together, if I were going backpacking, I would not bring this. I would just bring, your they call it, I think, an ATIS system or something, that the extra straps that you would strap around a tree or whatever. This is more for car camping or just going out to a campsite and so on and so forth. So I have never felt insecure in sitting in a hammock using this. I'm about 210, 220 pounds. The stand supports up to 300 pounds. I fully expect that it would have no problem supporting 300 pounds based on what I feel like when I get into it. It is, again, important that you slap this little clip together down here because that does prevent the legs from starting to spread out, causing some instability with those poles. Now, you can stake the legs down. Uh, they do send some aluminum stakes. They're the aircraft aluminum type stakes, and they're very solid, very strong stakes. I've done that. I've done it with and I've done it without those. I think it's probably safer with them, but in this setup in my backyard, I'm not doing that. So this pole, like I said, connects these two sides together, and all it does is sticks into this strap on the side. Let me show you a close up of that. So right here you can see how that strap passes through the plastic into that pole to support it. So here we just continue putting those together. It doesn't take long to get that put in place. It does the same thing on both sides, but what that does is, provides the stability across the top of these two pyramids. And now that both of them are in place, we can, just get them perfectly adjusted based on that strap, and then hook in the rest of the hammock onto it. While not directly a part of the sleeping system, it's still an important part to me. So this Sea to Summit bag has these clips on it, and it is a waterproof bag. That's what I keep all my sleeping stuff in, all the hammock and everything. Basically, all you do is roll it as such and then fold the strap over and clip it into itself. And now you've got a waterproof bag that can clip on those straps underneath the pyramids over there. But it's nice to have a waterproof bag to have all of your stuff in. So I'm going to get some items out here. That is a pillow that I'll use from Ascend. This is the Inu hammock. It's a double nest. This is probably the tarp that goes over the top, not sure, but I have all that stuff in this bag and we'll go through each item. Actually, I think that's probably the tarp that goes over the top, the rain tarp, and various other things that I use inside the bag. So, all right, let's get to putting the hammock together. So it's not rocket science here on how to hook this hammock up. When you pull it out, there are clips already on it, the C clips, and you just spread it out and then hang one clip on one side and one clip on the other. I'll go ahead and zoom in here to show you what that looks like. So here you see that clip, and you see it's tied in pretty darn well on these Inu hammocks. Basically, you just clip one side on, bring it over to the other side, clip the other side on. It's that simple, seriously, with this. These straps are very, very rugged. So this would be my setup for summertime camping right here. If you don't have many bugs or mosquitoes or anything, that's pretty much it. The air will blow underneath that hammock. It will keep you cooler than without it. Now, you do want to be under some trees or something to provide some shade. But again, I'm 250 pounds, whatever, 220 pounds, and I can get in here without any problem. There is a side pocket, which is actually the pouch that the entire hammock fits into. But I want to show you a couple things inside the hammock. So as you can imagine, your legs are elevated in this hammock. They go up that way. Now the back, your knees, they're, if you got long legs, you need some sort of support. Also, maybe up behind your head, you want some sort of support. So, it's not always the most comfortable, but there are some things that you can do to accommodate for that additional knee strain and such. So I got this Ascend Luxe camping pillow. It's an inflatable backpack pillow because I really wanted something to lay my head on, and I really wanted something potentially to put my under my legs. So this is a fairly good sized pillow, and it does a good job. You can breathe into it as many times as you'd like. If you'd like a softer pillow, then you fill it with the less air. You'd like a more firm pillow, you fill it with more air. It took 3 puffs, and I was able to fill this up. It was natural breathing. Took a total of three breaths to fill this up. All you do after you're done breathing into it is twist the top to seal it back up again, and then you tuck that away inside of that little button right here, so that hard plastic valve is not hitting you in the head when you're trying to sleep, and go through it in your hammock. Now you can use it behind your head, under your legs, whatever. Some people like a pillow, uh, you know, behind their head. I enjoy it underneath my legs personally, simply because of that knee strain that I discussed earlier, and the fact that my head is already elevated because of the way that the hammock naturally holds you in that position. Now, there's nothing to say that you couldn't get 2 of these and use 2 of them by any means, but that's the way I usually like to sleep in these hammocks, is that those knees elevated, it takes pressure off the back of the knees, and, is very comfortable. So this is a good setup for, say, 70-degree 80-degree temperatures to sleep in. It's not great for cold weather camping. It is actually pretty horrible for cold weather camping because that air blows underneath the hammock, cooling you off. And it is not a comfortable thing to sleep in when it's cold. So let's start talking about things to start insulating you while you're sleeping in the hammock. The first is an air blow up mattress, basically something to keep you from touching that surface of the hammock there. It gets cold. So this is a an air blow up mattress that I got that is specifically designed for hammocks. It is the Climate. I believe it's a Climate 5 insulated sleeping pad or something like that. It's not, I mean, it's not inexpensive, but you go through one night of not having that insulation between you and that hammock when it gets cold, and it's well worth the money. You're talking I don't know, 10 degrees maybe, right? So you're going from say 70 degrees being comfortable down to 60 degrees being comfortable here. And really the goal is just get you off of that hammock. Now this one does have wings on the side because when you can roll over with it, you can it spreads the hammock out some so that you've got a little more airspace between you and the walls of the hammock. It took 12 breaths to fill it up. There are two valves on it. One is a intake, one is a oh, exhale valve or output valve. So you want to make sure that you open the right one, otherwise the valve doesn't open in the right direction and it doesn't really work very well. So the arms here or the sides of it do, spread that hammock out. It does make it catch more wind also. So just be prepared for that when you're setting it all up. But the gist of it is it keeps that cold hammock off of the side of you. It provides an air insulator. That air can be warmed up by your body. Gives you about 10 degrees cooler comfort zone versus just sleeping directly on the hammock. So that should get us sleeping comfortably down to about 40 degrees, I'm sorry, to about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So I bought this under blanket that hangs underneath the hammock, and that should be able to bring us down to about 50, 40 degrees, somewhere in there. The gist of it is it's down-filled, so it's just another layer of insulation underneath you that prevents, that cold booty from hanging down below. This will clip on to, it's designed for this particular setup that I have, but it clips on. It is pretty good size. You could use this as a blanket for something else if you really wanted to. But the gist of it is it's got all these strings right here that clip on in the right location on that stand and onto your hammock to provide a blanket underneath you. And you can see right here, I've got one side hooked up. You hook it up to the other side. You adjust it back and forth in the direction that you need it to be. But initially, it's just about getting it hung up. And then you pull different strings basically to get it pulled up right underneath you. You can tighten up the side of it, the ends of it, and you get the picture. It's a blanket underneath you that's held up close enough to you to keep wind and air from blowing between you and the bottom of that hammock. So after having it all put together here, you can kind of see it's not any more difficult to get into. That's with the under blanket and the thermal pad that's inside of it. So Again, that should take it down. I'm going to conservatively say 50 degrees. Now, you would want something over you, obviously, whether it be a sleeping bag or whatever, but that then adds to the level of insulation that you have. So now what happens if it's even colder? Well, at this point, I'm using multiple or multi-use items. I found this blanket that's pretty darn cool. There's what it is, but the gist of it is the outside of it is waterproof. The inside of it is oh, I don't know, like a fleece type layout or setup. And you can use this for multiple things. Number one, you can use it just as a camping blanket with a layer of protection against water on the outside of it. But it also has these snaps. And if you unsnap all these snaps, you've now got something that you can not just lay over the blanket or the hammock, but you can wrap it around the hammock and then snap those snaps together. Now, those snaps are not just a small snap that you snap in place and tension breaks it back apart. Those snaps actually have two snaps on each one. So the tension works together on those snaps in order to make it stay together on the hammock. Now you've also got this hole in the top of the hammock, or right in the middle, not the hammock, of this blanket, and you can put that on, and now you've got a poncho. Not just a poncho, but a poncho that'll keep you warm. So you can see right there, and then the snaps can snap it together on the side. So you've got a poncho, you've got a blanket, you've got a hammock blanket, you've got something that's comfortable when the temperature does drop, not just on your hammock, but also that you can wear, around the camp, by the campfire, whatever. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when it is on the hammock. So this is the snaps that I was talking about. You've got one snap on each side, and they kind of pull apart from each other, which keeps it tight. Now, you could spin this over, right? But I've got it set up like this simply because when you undo that snap in the middle, you can then sit down in the hammock, and you're able to get into it and use it. So occasionally you just need some lights without needing a flashlight, right? So these little Inu lights, there's 23 of them in a strand. They operate off of 5 volts, 3 AAA or AA batteries. I can't remember which. These just plug into a little battery pack, and you can run them above you here, along that bar, and you've got some way to add some light or turn out some light easily, from right there at your hammock. Now, I am getting older. I do get up in the middle of the in the middle of the night to go to the restroom. Turning those on before I walk away to use the restroom allows me to quickly and easily see where that hammock is on the way back. So for me, that's the way I use it more than anything else. But, to each their own. These are little lights that are pretty cool. They don't change color or anything. It's not like a festive light or anything. It's just an on-off. But it's a real nice soft glow. Can't show you here because, it's daytime. So the other thing I have is this Inu bug net. You wouldn't be using that if you've got all this on this hammock. If you are, you've got bigger issues. But basically, the new bug net comes in its own pack, again in its own pouch, and the gist of it is you can hang it over this bar. That bar allows it to stay up off the ground, and you wrap it around everything that you've got, that you're trying to protect. I've shown it on a previous video, but if it's summer, you're not going to have all this stuff on your hammock, so it's kind of a pain to get hooked up. I'm not going to do it in this video. I say it's a pain to get hooked up. It's a pain to get hooked up if you've got the under blanket and this other blanket and this pad and so on and so forth on. It's not a big deal if you just got the hammock. And the last part of this is the rain guard or the rain tarp, and it's a pretty nice rain tarp. Comes packed up pretty tight. Roll it out. You've got some stakes that come with it. They're aluminum stakes. They're pretty nice aluminum stakes, so you don't want to lose those. They're the aircraft aluminum stakes, not just your normal stakes there. So you spread it out, throw it over the top. I'll show you what it looks like when it gets all put on here. Sorry for the skip ahead here, but basically you wrap it over the top and wrap it back into those straps with the little clips, right? So there's little straps that are on the edge of the Enu um, rain tarp, and you just bring those around and hook them into your carabiner that's tied into the rest of your hammock. And then from there, you stake it out. There are 6 stake points, and I'll show you what it looks like after the stakes are in place. So here it is, all staked out with some rain protection for your hammock and you as you sleep in it, along with some sun protection. Now those lights, you can still put those lights in there. That, inside of that hammock area could be pretty darn cool. Should imagine light shining down below that. People may decide that they want to go do this more just because of that ground effect that would be happening. So all those bags that were part of, each one of those different items, I roll up inside of this C2 Peak, I think it is, waterproof bag, and walk over and just clip it directly onto the side there, so I don't lose them. They're all self-contained with my I'll call it a tent at this point. It's a hammock, but it's a one-person tent for all practical purposes that can withstand some fairly cold temperatures. Go get the rest of the stuff that I use and clip it on the other side, and everything is nice and contained, protected from weather, so on and so forth, right there. So what do I like about this setup? Well, I love it because it's completely modular. Uh, I love it because things have multiple purposes. I can use that tarp, the rain tarp, just to be a sunshade. I can go from, very hot temperatures and sleeping at night comfortably when it's 75, 80 degrees down to comfortably when it's 30 or 40 degrees, and I can keep adding on things. So the next thing would be to add a sleeping bag into this configuration. Sleeping bags can be any number of degrees below zero. The key is in a hammock scenario to get something between you and the air blowing underneath you. So the same thing that cools you off is the same thing that makes it incredibly uncomfortable during cold weather. So that was kind of my goal. Come up with a system that I could take with me when I'm car camping or backpacking at any point in time, whether it's hang it in a tree, hang it on the stands, do whatever I need to in a completely modular configuration that actually makes me feel better when I wake up than sleeping on a sleeping bag, an air mattress, or cot, or anything else. I would recommend any of these products. All of them so far that I've used have been very, very well made, very comfortable. The Eno products are amazing. That hammock is great. I haven't had any rips in it yet, so I don't know what's going to happen if an ember lands on it, but I've been told that it's extremely good ripstop material, so we'll just have to see. Anyway, 73, thanks for stopping by. Please like, subscribe. I'll keep doing these videos, reviewing some of the stuff that I use outside of the radio. And then we'll get to the radio components here in a couple weeks. Thank you. Have a great weekend.